leadership. A word which is often associated with boldness, and sometimes even with aggressiveness. This is way people describe leadership. But is it really only that? What if I told you that there's another form of leadership that doesn't require aggressiveness? Rather, it needs firmness and politeness and is even more effective. Yes, that's right. That's what gentle leadership is. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. The ultimate key to creating connections based on trust and mutual respect and fostering growth is gentle leadership. But what exactly is gentle leadership, and on what principles its foundation lies? If you're looking for these answers, you're at the right place. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the secretive power of the gentle leadership, how you can apply its principles in your life, and more importantly, we'll show you statistically and historically how gentle leadership has created the most influential figures in the world. So buckle up, because at the end of this video, you'll have a comprehensive blueprint of the definition, methods, and the historical perspective of the gentle leadership. Let's get started. Gentle leadership is basically a form of leadership whose approach is centered around mutual respect, valuing personal space, fostering a collaborative attitude, all for the growth of the people rather than an authoritative attitude. It is based on the following principles. Empathy. Showing empathy is the core principles of the gentle leadership. If you're able to empathize with the people, their problems and their needs, you will create a more positive environment and they will respect you on a much higher level. Empowerment. Empowering other individuals by understanding their abilities and hidden potential and working with them to create the best possible version of themselves is one of the most important principles of gentle leadership. Communication and connections. By directly communicating with people and listening to them in a humble way, allows them to seen and heard. This helps in mastering the art of networking and building trustable connections. Since we're on the topic, why not compare gentle leadership to the traditional one so you get a better perspective on its significance? It creates authority by creating a controlling behavior and giving all the power of decision-making in the hands of the leaders. Traditional leadership creates authority by creating a controlling behavior and giving all the power of decision-making in the hands of the leaders. Gentle leadership inspires and motivates people through learning their abilities and potential, and then encouraging and empowering them accordingly. Traditional leadership inspires people by making them afraid of the dire consequences if they don't take actions immediately. While traditional aggressive leadership might work in some settings, especially in third world countries and where people are less competitive and less educated, but in highly educated countries, to create a perfect environment needs gentle leadership. In the words of Lao Tzu, I have 3 treasures: guard and keep them. The first is deep love, the second is frugality, and the third is not to be ahead of others, but to be in the same rank. Let's have a look at how the historical figures ruled by the example of leading through firm but gentle attitude. When we talk about the great leaders who set perfect examples of gentle leadership, the first name that comes in almost every mind is the name Abraham Lincoln. Even during the periods of the historical American Civil War, a time considered one of the most turbulent time in world's history, Lincoln didn't show aggressive behavior. He rather believed in his people, fought for their rights, and led through empathetic attitude. His leadership principles were firm but polite attitude, assessing authority through actions rather than words, empathetic yet compassionate behavior, believing in potential of the people and struggling for their rights. By applying these principles, he was able to preserve the Union and abolish slavery. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, I destroy my enemies when I make them my friends. On other side, Mandela set a prime example by using his gentle style of leadership to inspire reconciliation. Despite being imprisoned for 27 years for opposing apartheid, he didn't choose the bitter and hateful approach. He rather emerged as a leader whose vision was based on uniting people through gentle leadership. Mandela's public embrace of previous enemies was one of his most potent displays of gentle leadership. Mandela demonstrated the bravery to lead with compassion by doing everything from donning the South African rugby team's shirt, which was once seen as a sign of division, to collaborating with leaders of the apartheid era to draft a new constitution. Mandela's story is a perfect reminder for us that gentle and compassionate attitude is a sign of strength rather than weakness. Since we have talked about historical perspective of gentle leadership, it's time to talk about its modern applications. When Satya Nadella took over Microsoft as a CEO in 2014, Microsoft was struggling financially and it needed a leader with strong and compassionate mentality. Someone who prioritized teamwork and collaboration over traditional leadership. And Satya Nadella was the perfect fit for it. Under Nadella, the emphasis was moved from strict competition to a culture of cooperation, transparency, and learning. In order to create an atmosphere where workers could flourish, be creative, and feel appreciated, he highlighted empathy as the fundamental component of leadership. In addition to revitalizing Microsoft internally, this culture change changed how the company was seen by the public, which resulted in previously unheard-of success and development in fields like artificial intelligence and cloud computing. Let's talk about the greatest businessmen in the history who applied this gentle leadership approach and created business empires. Virgin Group founder Richard Branson is a prime supporter of compassionate leadership, a philosophy that has influenced his corporate empire. According to him, the key to success is prioritizing people, whether they be stakeholders, consumers, or employees. His approach to leadership places a strong emphasis on empathy, empowerment, and trust, creating an atmosphere where people feel appreciated and inspired to perform at their highest level. Such approach not only increases productivity, but also proves to be effective in innovation. In the words of Richard Branson, business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. When we are talking about businessmen who created their empire through a strong yet compassionate leadership, it's impossible to forget Warren Buffett's name. He believes that through empathetic, respectful, and kind way of leading, it is possible to build networks based on trust and mutual respect. Such networks lead to more investment opportunities, thus helping in expanding the business. In the words of Warren Buffett, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. Now it's time to learn what the famous motivational speakers say about gentle and compassionate leadership approach. Sinek strongly believes that when leaders talk to their people about the problems, discuss its solutions, and listen to their views, they are able to create a positive and friendly environment. Such environment helps in people reaching their true potential, listening to different ideas, and thus having more options of solutions. In the words of Simon Sinek, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. An extremely famous motivational speaker, Tony Robbins, is a strong advocate of combining assertiveness with understanding. According to him, the leaders must have the courage to make difficult decisions if they're according to the needs of their people. According to Tony Robbins, the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. While we are on the topic, it's time to talk about the statistical analysis on how gentle leadership increases employee satisfaction and productivity. The following data statistically proves that gentle leadership has tremendous impact on employees' opinions and work rate, which allows a stress-free and friendly environment leading to more productivity. According to an EY consulting report, 79% of American workers believe that empathic leadership reduces employee turnover, and 90% of workers think it increases job satisfaction. A survey by Businessolver revealed the substantial influence that empathetic leadership has on worker satisfaction and productivity is demonstrated by Businessolver's 2024 State of Workplace Empathy Study. According to the study, 50% of workers and 55% of CEOs said they had dealt with mental health difficulties in the previous 12 months, highlighting the vital role empathy plays in leadership. Understand the emotional needs of the people, empathize with people, actively listen to them, consider their views in decision-making, be compassionate and understanding, provide constructive feedback, be present, always. While aggressiveness and traditional leadership might work in certain situations, it is now psychologically, historically, and statistically proved that you need to develop gentle approach in your leadership style. It will bring creativity, mutual respect, and strong relationships, innovation, and a stress-free work environment for the people you are leading. In the words of Brené Brown, leadership is not about being the boss. It's about inspiring and guiding people with heart, clarity, and compassion. Pick a practical tip today and start working on it. Then incorporate it into your leadership style until you master it. Pick another practical tip and similarly incorporate it in your leadership approach. Start learning them and implement them right now. Do not wait for tomorrow or the next week or month. Start today. Thank you for watching. If you found this video inspiring and helpful, give us a thumbs up and share it with the people who are struggling in leadership and want to lead their people effectively.